Going live.
Going
Oh,
live?
there it goes. That was the preview. Now we're going live.
Is it live?
You're
live.
There we go.
Yay!
We're live. Okay, I'm now going to pop out the chat. So now, there we go. There we go.
Oh, there's lag. Lots and lots of lag.
Yeah, I imagine that'll be a thing, unfortunately. There we go. Hey! We got Jeremy, we got Joseph. This is a thing. So I'm going to try and share the link without closing the stream this time.
Here's hoping that works.
Wait, where's the link? How do I
Stream
scroll?
URL?
No, that's the thing I had to do for this,
Oh.
I think. Maybe. Okay, I'm gonna try this to share the things. Oh! But here's the thing. Alright, I see somebody already saying, hi database and misses. I don't have the misses here this time. Okay. So we're kicking things off. I want to make sure that everything is working. Is everything working for you guys? Are you seeing me okay? Wow, that was a lot of lag right there.
Yeah, I was telling you, there's lots.
Why is this aspect ratio? I don't know why it's this aspect ratio. I don't know anything right now. I'm experiencing so much lag on my end. Let's see if it looks, maybe it's okay over here. You can see me okay? Okay.
We are seeing.
We are seeing. Everything seems to be working okay.
Minus the lag, but that seems to be catching up.
And I'm trying to see if there's, okay, so I'm going to try sharing this link just now. And hopefully that will be okay. I'm hoping that's the proper link because everything is very strange. Oh wait, no, that's not a proper link. Okay, so I'm going to rely on. So here's what I want you guys to do. You guys in the chat, since right now YouTube's whole live streaming thing is weird compared to how it used to be. Wait, maybe I can get it here. Nope, I do not know how to share this video right now. So you know what? You guys share this video, tag me in it, and I will retweet you. Because I'm trying with this newfangled technology of confusion, and it's only
I know even less about it than Jake does, so I am of zero help whatsoever.
All right, so I should probably explain what's going on. So here's how we always open it.
Okay.
We'll do a little hi guys like this, and then I'm gonna say this is Jake and Liz here for live reactions to Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Okay, so I'll give you a ready, and you'll do it with the left hand, and you can look at the camera over there. Okay. At
that camera and not this camera.
At this camera, because this is the recording.
All right.
So I'll do the little title card on this one. See, we raise up your right hand instead of left hand, so that's mirrored. And I'll do ready and. Hi guys! Jake and Liz!
Hello!
Here for live reactions to Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Obviously, it's a little bit different than before. I know I gave you sunglasses a moment ago.
You didn't.
Here you go.
You found them.
I found them, but I didn't hand them to you. So, what do we do when it's Power Rangers Beast Morphers time? We put on our sunglasses because, of course, we do. Over our other glasses, and then what do? Throw them away. There we go.
That went nowhere.
So yes, as we mentioned during the Super Sentai live reactions, Marissa is at a birthday party today. So we have no MJ tonight. Instead, we have our guest co-host, Liz, who some of you may know as Pocky Squirrel. And yeah, for the initial hi, we say hi to this camera, but we will be also chatting with the people down here. I try to have it line up something similar to reasonable. I don't know why the stream is smaller than the normal aspect ratio, but I don't want to try to change it because this is newfangled technology. YouTube.
We already accidentally ended the stream once, so we don't want to do that again.
Yeah, I didn't realize that apparently I did the two fingers on the trackpad to try and move over, and I didn't realize that on Marissa's computer that's a back button. So that was a mistake on my part.
Oops.
So, welcome to all of you down in the chat who are joining us right now. Please, by all means, share the link to the stream, because right now, I don't know how to. Because this stream is very strange, because they made me download a separate program and connect it to YouTube instead of just using YouTube. I don't know why YouTube's so bad at YouTube.
YouTube needs to, in general, reconsider its life choices.
I think it already is. Did you hear that YouTube actually unverified itself? It changed.
I can't even say I'm surprised. It
changed its standards for verification, and apparently, if you went to go check on the actual YouTube channel for YouTube, it no longer has the verification check mark.
That's.
I don't know what's verified anymore. I don't know if anything is verified. I don't even know what verification means. I'd forgotten that verification was even a thing on YouTube, but apparently that's a thing.
Were you verified?
I don't think so. I never tried to be. I'm not aware. If I was, that was surprising, because we're not that big of a channel. We're respectable, but we're like a little bit respectable. And I see that Awesome Gamer 123 has asked, I think at least twice, what my favorite Power Rangers series ever is, and as I have said on numerous occasions, it is Power Rangers in Space. Actually, I don't think I've actually ever asked you what your favorite Power Ranger series is.
In space.
It is also in space. Fantastic. There we go. As it should be.
Oh, there is no should.
There's no should. There's no right or wrong answer, except occasionally Power Rangers in Space. But it's the right answer for me. It's the right answer for you.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be the right answer for you.
Correct.
All right. So, I just want to check and make sure that there aren't any other errors going on right now before we get started, because this is a new streaming experience. And yes, I know the aspect ratio is odd, but I also don't know how to fix it midstream, and I don't want to try, because that could disconnect things. But for our new guest hosts, I will quickly review how we do this, which is we watch the episode, we talk about what's happening, we react to it and make jokes, and then we talk about it afterwards.
That's fair.
And we'll occasionally answer their questions. And make fun of the commercials, as they often tend to be silly. Oh, your favorite Power Ranger series is Power Rangers Wild Force.
That's a valid answer.
That is absolutely valid, because it is your answer. Oh, what's your least favorite Power Ranger series? Because that was directed right at you.
Oh, man. Do I have an answer to that question?
It's like, I feel like it used to be easier, but it's gotten more difficult over time. Because I know on my end, it was definitely Power Rangers Overdrive for a good while.
It was Ninja Storm for a while for me.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Ninja Storm I felt had a rough beginning, but kind of hit its stride midway. But Overdrive frustrated me.
I appreciated Ninja Storm more when I went back and watched it again.
Yeah. Ninja Storm was a weird case for me, because it's the only one I didn't watch while it was airing. That was the year I took off from Power Rangers, because I was graduating from high school, going into college, and wanted to take a break from being obsessively obsessive. It seemed like a good thing to do.
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
But I did go back and watch it again. I did go back and watch it in full as soon as I had that ability to do so, which was trickier back in 2004. I videotaped a marathon to get like the first dozen episodes, but then I had to catch the rest of it piecemeal as I could find it.
VHS tapes.
Yes. That was what me and MJ had to do for when we were doing live reactions when I was living at the private school, because we couldn't get proper cable with DVR. That just wasn't a thing.
Oh.
And so what I had to do was borrow my in-laws' old VCR, dig out my old VHS tapes that I happened to have some spare space on, and then we would just record. That was how we watched the first 8 episodes of Ninja Steel, was on VHS.
Wow.
Because that was the only way that we could watch it, because Marissa works on Saturdays.
Boy, life finds a way.
Yeah, we couldn't keep waiting on the Nick website. That was just not an acceptable option. No. Okay, so I think we've got a good number of people in here. I wanted to make sure to have a little bit of chat. There we go. We got about 17 people joining us right now.
Someone in the chat thinks they are following me on Twitter.
Cool. Yes. Are you following Pocky Swirl on Twitter? Because that's who this is.
Then I guess you are.
Yeah. Yes, for those of you who don't know, Liz is Pocky Swirl from the Toku Ladies.
Yes.
So, cheap plug, Toku Ladies podcast, listen to it, and hear Toku Ladies talk about Toku.
Shameless plug!
Shameless
Yay!
plug. Feel free to do all the plugs with no shame. Okay, so, I think we are good to kick off episode 10 of Power Rangers Beast Morphers, Thrills and Drills.
Dun dun dun.
Play! Ooh, evil red zone of redness. Yep. Wow, that would be a very useless thing. I think that's the reason Scrozzle's not getting a figure.
At least he knows his role.
Exactly. He's the brains of the operation. That's why no one's giving him a Lightning Collection figure. Interesting. Oh, apparently Evox agrees with me. That is interesting. Okay, so they gotta prove who's the most powerful.
Because sure, pitting your henchmen against each other is a great plan.
I mean, it works for Lothor. Technically.
Technically.
I'll do it. I have a plan that can't fail. The Rangers will never see their doom coming. This will be right under their feet.
This upgrade's gonna be. I'm looking forward to it.
What? Why, thank you, Scrozzy.
Ooh, Blaze is jealous. Leona Ramirez always looks like she is having the most fun.
Way too much fun.
Like, an unreasonable level of fun.
Training montage!
Ah, nice! You're just fighting against a robot who is destroying...
Is this even, this is not their facility gym. This is just,
Yeah.
in the community. And the robot is there and no one cares.
What are you doing? Don't do that. That's not something you do to a person. Yeah, you should be.
How come that treadmill doesn't have a safety key?
I don't know. Oh. What? Okay, speaking as a physics teacher, that was some interesting physics. I don't...
What the heck was in that smoothie? It looked like tomato soup.
That did look like tomato soup. It's like... I guess they make gazpacho smoothies. Oh. Is this going to be the drills? Is it going to be a dentist episode? Oh my.
You have a dentist appointment? No, I don't do dentists.
That's what Ravi is afraid of, isn't it? We are getting... We got a traumatic flashback.
Ever since then, I've been brushing and flossing to make sure I don't need to go back. But here I am.
So depressed about the
An
dentist.
irregular insect is fine, but spiders? Oh.
We're all afraid of something.
Nate is so
It's all
cute.
human.
He is.
But there's nothing wrong with the dentist. Unless if you have a toothache, you kind of gotta go.
Maybe. But I'm just hoping it goes away on its own. Good luck with that.
It's not going to work.
I'm impressed. This is kind of like a real world fear for a
Oh, yeah.
Face Your Fears episode.
That is true. Oh. She was not subtle about that, and he did nothing.
This guy has no...
He's like...
so hung up on fixing that sign that he doesn't even realize he's being pickpocketed.
Like, that's not... Like, is... That's... That was an... Does that guy have, like, no sensation below the waist? How did he not notice that?
Just what I need. Now, hold still.
Is that a data chip?
Yes.
Apparently it is. Even though it doesn't look like a chip in any way.
Stop right there.
Great. The do-gooders. Want to have some fun, Julie? Tronics!
I have to admit, Drilltron is probably one of my favorite designs of the monsters this season. He's just shiny. Woo. Oh, nice. Whoa. That was my first time seeing Steel's morph. I like his little scarab freaking out there.
Are we just not caring about secret identities right now?
Everybody ran away, so we're fine. We're in the corner of the juice bar, so we're fine. Ravi's not going to be able to keep up in battle because he's got toothache. Yep.
Did I strike a nerve, lover boy?
Now, they were a thing for a while. Do you suppose she knows about his phobia?
She might. That actually would make sense. Oh yeah, we sing along the theme song. I don't know if you want to. Go!
If it was Dino Charge, maybe, but I don't know.
It's morphin' time. For justice we fight, with beast morphin' light. Together we rise.
I don't even know the words to this.
Go Power Rangers! Go Power Rangers! Well, Power Rangers Beast Morphers!
At this point, that part goes without saying.
I realize I didn't prep you for any of this to any extent, really.
It's okay, I'm used to not knowing what I'm doing.
Okay, cool. Dun dun dun. This was the exact same commercial that we saw last week.
We watched the commercials also, huh?
Yeah, we just let them roll and see what absurd things are going on.
Fair. The ads actually kind of make me want to watch Henry Danger.
It's been running for a surprisingly long time. Here's a good theory. Apparently Vargoyle is going to be a dentist. That would be the true threat. We've all been wondering what Vargoyle is going to be. Clearly he's a dentist. Also, the commercials give me a chance to see what the chat's up to. Apparently, they can't see you morph if they're not looking directly at you, like Pokemon battles.
Ah.
That's apparently a thing.
Comes with a Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toy and a unique code to unlock special customizations for the mutation.
But yeah,
you can make your mutant.
I know. There's been the little mini campaign to get Scrozzle a figure because he's not getting enough love.
I kind of wonder if people would care half as much about the character if the voice actor wasn't such a stand-up guy.
Campbell Cooley's so nice. Like he once commented on our live react tweeted our live reaction saying, "Hey, somebody just said Cosmo Royale was their favorite character in Ninja Steel." So I've chatted with him on Twitter a few times, and he's always super nice and friendly.
Yeah, he's just an incredibly positive person.
What is this?
Those are some tentacles, all right.
What is happening?
Oh, this is Lego.
Oh, wait, is this Lego Ghost?
No,
okay, it's Legos
Lego,
with augmented
Lego
reality.
Bootleg Ghostbusters?
Yeah. But I have to admit, though, Legos with augmented reality does sound really interesting. Because you get to create your little world and then use your phone to see what it would look like inhabited. It's a whole new layer of make-believe. That's interesting.
Oh, something is happening.
This is Spectrum being Spectrum.
Spectrum's terrible.
Spectrum is awful. I don't know why it still exists, other than I think that we're just out of options. Because Spectrum was apparently so bad that New York has said, no, Spectrum, you need to leave.
And Spectrum's not leaving?
Spectrum apparently isn't leaving because they haven't been able to find anything to replace it. We're in that weird sort of zone.
From what I've heard, Henry Danger will be ending soon. Okay, well, let's find all of it somewhere and binge watch it.
Yeah. Let me know how it is. I've been considering whether or not I've wanted to watch it. I've seen maybe one episode, and it seems for the most part like traditional, goofy Nickelodeon sitcoms, which have not necessarily been my taste for a long time. Outside of, like Keenan and Kel back when I actually was that age. I'm not gonna lie, I put the screw in the tuna. Had me and my brother rolling on the floor when we were like 10 years old.
I will periodically just post I dropped the screw in the tuna on social media, and it's an instant age check for everyone who's following me.
That was unreasonably hilarious.
He was at Ranger Stop in Atlanta, and we got him to say it, and just the entire room collectively lost their minds. It was fantastic.
And we're back. And Ravi's tooth is still bothered. I feel like this is... I'm trying to remember any other times we've referenced like dentists in Power Rangers, and of course it's glitching right now.
Of course.
This is what happens in a live show. And the only one I can actually think of was is from Mystic Force when Phineas had to go to the dentist.
Oh yeah.
And I think that was the episode that introduced, like, Genji or something.
They had to disguise him as a human. I remember that.
Yeah.
Mystic Force had some good stuff in it.
I feel like the middle of Mystic Force is its strongest section.
Better hit the streets and check the city's security feeds. They've got to come up sometime.
All right.
Sorry, guys. This is my fault. My toothache.
Spectrum.
I
figured I'd give you a shot. I'd give you a shot after the hiatus, see if you were still awful. You are. We gotta get Philo. I keep hearing Philo's good, as far as a internet cable service provider thing.
We're fortunate enough where I live to have Verizon Fios.
That's better?
It's better, yeah.
Huh. Well, you don't live that far from me. Maybe I should look into that.
I don't know if they have it up here.
Really?
Yeah, it's really, limited the area in which they can do it. I'm not sure why.
Huh. That is weird.
Don't worry,
Oh,
Rob.
there we are.
We love our
Ben and Betty, why are you at the dentist with him?
For moral support.
And hey, everyone always leaves here with a big smile. Goodbye.
Really?
Yikes. Look, another happy customer.
This is a weird dentist office.
Yes. Ravi.
What? No. I'm sorry. That is a 1-inch diameter drill bit right there. You do not use that on a human. Like, you wouldn't even use a drill bit like that for brain surgery. Like, when you're trying to bore through a skull, you would not use that.
Do you need help?
What is happening?
Bill, are you okay in there?
Oh, I'm fine, but my team just lost the game.
Okay.
Your shelves are all done.
Thanks, Bill.
Also, you have no reason to use a drill like that on shelves. But that was a genuinely funny bit.
You and Chris spot anything yet? Sorry, Nate. Sector Juliet 5-1 is...
That was actually pretty clever.
And I'm not seeing any sign of tunnels he could have come from.
Nothing on the city's security feeds either, bro.
You know, if we can't find Rockstars above ground...
I have so many questions about that handyman guy.
Why would they?
Why was he using a drill bit that large on shelving?
Maybe that's where they wanted to go all along.
What was he drilling for? Like, usually you drill so you can screw something in.
We have to check it out.
Hey everyone, I've just had an idea. Robbie, are you done with the dentist?
No.
No,
No, he's
I'm just gonna do it.
Well, right now we have other problems. I think the Robotron might be in the storm water drains under the city. I'm sending coordinates. Meet me in Steel there.
There we go.
Roger that.
Zoe and I will keep searching in case they surface above ground. Good luck.
I also just gotta give Beast Morphers all the props for all the original footage they keep using. There's so little Sentai footage in this show, and like, there's so many cases where they could use it, but they don't feel the need to. Like, stock shot of Devin riding around on cruise. You didn't necessarily need to not use Sentai footage. But they wanted to make sure that it fit the scene.
Oh, Nate gets to face his fear, too.
Oh, nice.
There's no octopuses here.
That's not what he...
Steel, you are acting as a
Steel
worthy
is the best
successor to BJ Stagg. This is a genuinely creepy area.
Watch your steps, Steel.
You'd think it would be harder to get into the city sewer system than this.
I mean, they're Power Rangers, and one of them's a giant robot. Shouldn't be too difficult for them, but...
True.
I feel like it's not that difficult to get into a sewer system. You just need to be strong enough to open up like a manhole cover or whatever. It is a little weird that it was just an open cage door, though.
I drill into the tower, and then we steal all the Morphers from right under their noses.
Guzzle, it's time to distract the Rangers.
I feel like you forgot what your plot was.
Southport Tower.
I mean, it is nice that you're stealing more facts, as you should, but at the same time, I thought that you had to drain data from the Rangers.
Commander, we got the Robotron.
Just in time. I heard from Nate. Roxy and the Robotron are in the storm drain system.
Can we get a focus episode for her, because she's great?
Yeah. She was... I think one of the weakest parts of the last one was just not enough Commander Shaw. Also, I want to see more from Lil Random Tech with her hat.
In position.
The launch for the Beast Racer Zord in robot mode is so very much Ava inspired.
Hurry up, Drilltron.
Trust me, I'm going as fast as I can.
How does your drill extend?
Can't stop them.
Oh, because of course there is.
Just on his shoulder, and it's a tarantula.
Handle this right now. The fear is all in my head.
That doesn't seem to be like the
Yeah.
smartest way to grab it.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're trying to face your fear, but dude, you don't have to do it that way.
You could just brush it off, and you'd be fine. That's a cool little spider, too. I thought it was a tarantula, but it was something else.
Yes.
It was something native to
Yeah.
New Zealand.
Perhaps.
Hopefully nothing venomous.
There we go.
Actually, we're stopping you.
I feel like you should have morphed before your reveal if you could have, but that's a nice instant morph. That was pretty.
See, that's why they waited for the aesthetics.
Yeah, I know, but I don't feel like she needed to see the aesthetics. I'm glad we got to see it.
Rangers are in for a subterranean surprise.
Robotron time?
Robotron
Or
time.
not Robotron time. Gigadrone time. We already have the Robotron. Gigadrone. That's it. I keep getting the terms mixed up on these guys.
It's all just technobabble.
Yeah.
That's weird. The Gigatron still hasn't arrived.
Maybe it was a false alarm.
Also, just in general, the terminology on Beast Morphers is all scrambled on my head because I know Beast Morphers, but I've also seen Go Busters, and I made Grid Defense, which has its own versions of everything. So I have three names for everything.
3 different competing sets of technobabble.
Exactly.
Rock on.
Why? Are you tired?
like for grid defense, the Robotrons were called Sidroids, or yeah, Sidroids. Now I'm even doubting myself on what I named things.
Drilltron's got him by himself. Maybe that's part of the plan to drain his ability.
Yeah, that could work. Was there? That's a thing?
Oh dear.
Okay. A family act competition series. That's new.
We needed a new Partridge Family. We needed a new
yeah.
Hanson.
The Partridge Hansons. Yes.
That guy is covered in glitter.
Yes, he always will be now. Like, oh, did you hear that this is actually coming to Proctor's apparently?
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm kind of hype. I would want to go see that.
Like, I think it might actually be. I don't know if it's at. It might actually be at Proctor's now. Because I was looking at what's Proctor's is a professional theater that is not far, and yeah, it's I was just checking to see what shows were coming out of Proctor's because I was looking at potentially doing a maybe a field trip with my students, and apparently SpongeBob is the show that's there right now. I think it was like it's there till the end of September.
No kidding.
Yeah.
It's a pretty long run.
Well, we are pretty close to the end of September now. It's already September 20th-ish? I'm forgetting now what date. 21st. It's September 21st now. Yesterday was the 20th.
Oh my god, what are these?
They're nanobles. Nanobles? Wait, is it supposed to be nano or nano? Like, are these miniature... Are they supposed to be miniature grandmas? Is this nanobles? Are these...
I don't know, they look like colorful thumbs with faces.
Are you supposed to feed them to your grandmother? I don't understand.
Oh, hey, on the subject of Keenan and Kel.
All that has returned, apparently. And of course... Okay. Seriously, Kel does not look like he's aged.
He hasn't.
What's up with... That's not fair.
He hasn't. It's uncanny. It's like... Walter Jones hasn't aged either.
I'm always freaked out when we meet, like, people who we grew up watching on TV. And, like, they haven't aged, but we have.
It's like we've aged and they're still the same.
Like, I should not look older than someone I grew up watching. That's not fair.
This is still a game.
They seem to have made it a little bit more cartoonish. Like, the gator looks legitimately cute now. It's got the little tiny snout and the giant eyes.
What's the chat doing?
Let's see. Someone wishes to be woken up when September ends. So I'm guessing they are not on board with the SpongeBob musical. Yeah, someone was pointing out how they seem to tone down the Zord battles in Beast Morphers compared to Go Busters. And somebody's been saying that apparently Beast Morphers does continue to get better and better because they have binge-watched it, which I will remind the chat, no spoilers for the episodes that have not aired here yet. I know that, like, almost all of Beast Morphers, or possibly all of it now, has aired in Australia.
All of it.
Is it? They hit the
season.
finale?
Yeah, they did.
I knew, like, last week they were on, like, episode 18, so I wasn't sure if they'd...
If memory serves,
yeah,
at any rate. And as someone with arachnophobia, I respect Nate for touching the spider so much. Yes.
Yeah, that's it was unnecessary, but respect.
He did good. That's not actually how you do exposure therapy, but...
Yeah. Okay. There you go. You remembered you have super strength. Boom. Okay, there we go. Now he's got...
Oh, so now he's copied the data from Robbie using his ability.
Let's go.
Hook, line, and sucker. Scrozzle was right. The chip did collect data when Blue used his gorilla beast power.
Thank you for that exposition.
Let's finish him off.
I don't remember her having a scarf. Am I just like...
Oh, it's not a scarf per se. It's sort of like a vest dress thing.
I don't remember it being there. I like it, but I don't remember it being there.
It's not always that noticeable. But Escape had that in Go Busters. She had sort of the outfit that kind of flared out at the bottom.
Oh, that's going to be a lot of road work.
Yep. Good thing everybody rides those X-bikes now. So, don't need to worry about traffic anymore. Because that problem has been solved. I will take it as it has not been mentioned since.
In fairness, I haven't seen any cars in this episode.
Yeah. When was the last time you saw anybody driving? But yeah, you see, it's not really a scarf. It's more like just this sort of flimsy material that goes down on either side, but not around the neck. Hey, Kelson. Haven't heard you speak in a while. I also like that they've managed to recreate the red cockpit so well. Oh, there's our Sentai footage.
Now, see, this was one of the things that I really dug about Go Busters, and I dig it about Beast Morphers as well.
Yeah.
That there's fights going on in both scales at the same time.
Which is amazing.
It's not a sequence. We fight the bad guy small, and then we fight the bad guy big.
This was definitely one of the best shakeups of that formula. Like Ryu Soldier right now, one of the issues is that they flat out can't defeat the monsters on the ground. Because in terms of how everything's structured, the monster needs to stay alive to continue growing. As opposed to growth being a resurrection, or in this case, a whole separate thing, which is great. Yeah, they're almost like I'm trying to think of the right material to describe it. Like little flimsy, like fabric tool wings, almost.
I don't know the fashion term for that kind of garment. The fabric is probably like a chiffon or something.
That could work. Yep. Nobody needs cars anymore.
Let's just blow up the whole road.
Yep.
Let's do that. Oh, there's a cat. Hello, cat.
Hey, Frankie.
Hi.
Like, you two are watching Power Rangers, and you are not MJ. What is happening?
I know, I'm an interloper.
It's very wrong. You are officially only the second stand-in co-host I've ever had. The only other one that I've had was Seamus when I was in LA during a Power Rangers premiere. They found the drill drone. They did such a good job of recreating that cockpit. I'm still impressed by that because it's not a simplistic cockpit.
Yeah, and it's been long enough that they probably wouldn't still just like have the set lying around.
Yeah,
that they could just reuse. They would have had to rebuild it.
Like there was so much like intensive reconstruction that went into this show. She's like, I'm gonna teleport away. I don't care about those guys.
Gets herself out of there and lets them. Well, I mean, to be fair, they're
nice team.
Semi-sentient and expendable.
I took out the gig. Oh, Robbie, don't worry. If you can face your fear, I can face mine.
Nice.
I'm going to that dentist right now.
Good, you do that.
You got this, Robbie.
Robbie Shaw?
That's a... Yeah, they actually are...
I'm ready. I can do this.
His last name is Shaw, as we've established.
Let's get that tooth fixed.
Are we gonna have a weird... No, okay, I thought there might be a weird wrap-up on that.
Did you destroy the Rangers or give me more thanks? Explain yourself.
Forgive me, Evox. My plan was spoiled.
Was it?
But I got the Blue Ranger's gorilla strength data just as I
She
promised.
did what you wanted her to do. Why are you yelling?
I don't know. They don't seem to be able to decide what their plan was this week.
With Blue's base power.
Do it now.
It's like, did you do either of these two plans that wasn't the plan for this week? No,
No,
I
I did the plan for this
apologize. I apologize. But I did the plan for this week.
And it was yours to shape.
The
Okay.
Cyan Go Busters was just as unreasonable, so...
That's true. He also had just as little of an origin. This is a fun little plotline. Alright.
Now, I don't think that he's going to upgrade either of them. I think he's going to take those powers and use them for himself. Give himself a new body and take those abilities for him.
Well, one thing I'm trying to think of is what this would align with in terms of the Sentai. What the power-up could be.
And I got you a gift to celebrate overcoming your fear.
Why did you get him that? That...
Dude, I am so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, no, that was still a weird thing to get. But
Scares you more than the dentist.
Are you ready, kids?
nope, no, we are not.
No, we're not.
That's enough of that. All right. So, I like that we've kicked off sort of a new little villain arc. They actually have a plan that's going to extend over more than one episode.
Imagine that.
That's
Plot lines in
That's
My
a
Power
nice
Rangers?
I'm liking that. Let's see any queries from the chat here. Someone's wondering if Shaw knows her son hates the dentist. I'm sure she knows. Oh, they couldn't swat the spider away because it was probably an animal rights. Like, that's fair. They did borrow that spider, I'm sure.
Could have used a fake spider, though.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool having a real spider. To my knowledge, no one knows the name for Season 2 of Beast Morphers yet. Other than just that it won't be a super season.
Does it have to have its own name? Can we just call it Beast Morphers?
I have no idea.
It's still Beast Morphers.
It could be Beast Morphers 2 Morphex Boogaloo. That would be, I'm not going to lie, that would be an amazing thing to see in the credits every week. I kind of want to see that. I mean, the Stranger Things season story, like Stranger Things 2, Stranger Things 3, they could have sequel numbers.
They could.
Uh,
It would just be so funny if they named the second season something that the fandom hates worse
yes.
than Super insert title here.
Super Megaforce was still just the pinnacle of all of that, though.
Beast X Morphers. That's not a bad one.
Beast X Morphers could work. I mean, we've heard rumors that something that like there might be something called like they might be naming various things Beast X this, Beast X that. I mean, we do have the Beast X Megazord, so
Yeah, so maybe
Beast X Morphers. They don't actually morph anymore. They just walk around and they can't morph anymore. They're X Morphers. But I do like how the lesson of this episode was presented pretty well.
yeah. I mean, the Face Your Fears episode has been a staple of Power Rangers since the very beginning.
Big time.
And like sometimes they make it seem really grounded in reality, and sometimes you have sometimes you have scenes like Tori having nightmares about her hair getting cut off.
Yeah, that was a weird one. Although at least they did go with it was within an episode where they were dealing with familial disappointment, which was actually a surprisingly complex psychological fear to deal with.
Yeah, sometimes they nail it, and sometimes Billy is afraid of fish.
Yep. But he got over that pretty well.
He
really did. Maybe a little too well. But I will say that, like, the very first standalone episode that we ever had was Trinian Heights.
Right.
So that is something that we've been dealing with for a long time. And then, of course, there was Island of Illusion, where all of them had to deal with it.
Yeah. And when you're thinking about who the target audience is for this show, how many young kids can you think of who are afraid to go to the dentist? I mean, that's relatable.
Exactly.
Adults are afraid to go to the dentist. It's relatable.
I mean, for adults, it's usually because of the lack of insurance, but even so.
Well.
I feel like it's been a while since we've had a good Face Your Fears episode in outside of just facing your fear of, like, fighting an evil villain or whatever.
If somebody mentioned Samurai have one? I can't remember that.
I feel like I'm trying to think now. Trying to think what was which one was the Samurai one with Facing Your Fears?
You hit your 30s and your brain is like a block of Swiss cheese.
I know I've been very... I'm Database Ranger. I should know this off the top of my head very well, but I'm not as good as I used to be in many regards. I mean, we had Broken Dreams, but that wasn't really a Face Your Fears episode. I want to say there was a monster. There must have been a monster with a Face Your Fears gimmick, because that seems like a very Nylock thing.
It was the one where Antonio was afraid of fish. How did I forget that?
That's right, because he had the fish PTSD. That was it.
Oh, right.
That was it.
Yeah, because he was...
I had blocked out that episode. Wow.
And the cat almost ate him. Oh, my God.
That was such a weird thing, because it's like, why aren't you afraid of cats instead? You were almost eaten by a cat. Not a fish.
Yeah.
Why are you afraid of fish now? And how did eating sushi solve that? That was probably the worst example of Facing Your Fears that they've ever
was
handled.
Another case of exposure therapy really doesn't work that way. And just people being mean to Antonio because he was afraid of something. Like, I'm
like
glad
they were trying to help, I think, but they didn't know how humans work.
I'm glad that nobody gave Ravi a hard time about his fear. Yes,
that was good. Like, they did impress on him the importance that he had to face it.
Yeah.
But they didn't give him a hard time.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I get it, dude, but you still have to go to the dentist. That's like, and nobody gave him a hard time for his fear getting in the way of fighting. He gave himself a hard time, which I think is peak Ravi.
Yeah, it's true. And that was actually this was a good focus episode for Ravi. Like, he's been probably the weakest of the characters, I think, this season, for the most part. Like, he has something of an interesting dynamic with Roxy, but on his own, I feel like he hasn't been as developed as well.
Kind of, like, falls into that trap of, you're like the serious business stoic character, so you're like a brick wall, and...
He got to be a little bit more...
Let Ravi feel feelings.
Yeah. Thanks, Mentor Grum. Shut up and eat this sushi.
Shut up and eat this sushi.
Oh, I feel like I could make a comment about Grum on that, but no.
No.
I feel like there's some unfortunate context on that front. Yeah. But for the most part, Facing Your Fears episodes have been good fallbacks for Power Rangers, and this was a nice one, not just because of how they handled Ravi's, but because there were multiple fears to be addressed.
Yeah.
And it was also a fear that had been established before as a character trait.
Yeah, and it was good teamwork, too, because we have here the Rangers learning from each other and supporting each other in addressing their weaknesses.
Which is really good. Like, An issue that I've had with some lesson learning in the past, depending upon the season, is that sometimes the Rangers have their flaw of the week, and it's like a serious character flaw.
Yeah.
Where the mentor ends up having to explain, no, this is how you human. And it makes you wonder why this person was chosen to become a ranger. But here it was a reasonable a reasonable flaw.
Yeah.
That another ranger helped him overcome. It's like, okay, you guys work together to overcome your each of you become a strength to the other's weakness.
Your strengths amplify each other's strengths, and you can learn from each other's weaknesses and support each other and grow stronger individually and as a team because of that. I'm like looking at the chat, and there's a couple of things here. So far, the weakest characters are the Beast Bots, other than Steel. Yeah, they had like one focus episode, and they were delightful. Like nobody. And they were such a big part of Go Busters that, you're right, that is a shortcoming that this season has.
Like, I even kind of poked fun of it while we were watching the episode. It's like, hey, Kelson, we haven't heard you in a little while. And that episode was also just not... That episode was probably the weakest episode of Beast Morphers for me so far.
That was like the character flaws thing that you were talking about. That it was just like, you guys are being mean.
That was just flat mean.
Yeah, just like...
And mean on a level that's not okay. It's like sometimes I see, you're poking fun at somebody, but and you don't realize you're hurting their feelings. Right. Okay. This was, you are not recognizing that character's sentience.
Yeah, I mean, I get that they're robots, but they're sentient robots. Treat them as people, please.
Like, they've forgotten how you became friends, and I'm like, I've forgotten that too, because I never saw you become friends, and you're not acting like it.
Yeah, it's like, are they people or are they tools to you? Make up your mind as to how you want to treat robots on this show.
That episode was very confused, and probably forgotten for the most part, outside of Jax just being amazing in that episode.
Yes.
That was the best part of that episode, hands down.
And a lot of comments about Drilltron and the voice, and I spent the entire episode wondering why Drilltron sounded familiar. Yeah. Yeah.
What is it about? What was it that sounded so familiar?
I don't know. It was like who?
He had a very high pitched tone to him.
Who does Drilltron sound like? Andy Serkis's Gollum, kind of.
Maybe a little bit. Somebody said that he sounded like Hack Track a little bit from Ninja Steel.
I can't remember any of the villains in Ninja Steel.
But one thing that I actually realized makes sense as far as Drilltron's voice, it sounds like it's a high whir. Like a drill.
Like a drill.
They were going for a voice that would sound like a drill. So it was sounding like this. Like it was kind of...
That's good, actually.
I may do a little bit of things like that. When I did Grid Defense, I voiced every robotic character, which was really fun.
I can imagine.
I don't know if you've actually seen Grid Defense or not.
I did.
Oh, okay. Because I remember you were surprised when you saw the jackets, and so I didn't know if you'd actually seen it. But yeah, the crew's voice was my favorite. Or not, well, I called him Jag instead of Cruz, but I'm glad that if they were not going to use the voice that I used for him, that they decided to use Kelson Henderson. That was basically okay.
You can't go wrong with Kelson.
You can't. It's just okay. Apparently, the Drilltron was a newcomer voice actor. Yeah, I feel like we haven't had too many recurring voice actors like we used to.
Probably somebody on Twitter has identified who that is, and I just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I know that Power Scoop always does those cast postings of who's cast as various characters whenever any of those news comes out. Like, that's how we know that Miriam Smith is going to be playing a character in a future episode. And that's going to be fun to see again. I'm looking forward to seeing her again.
Hype.
Norg says
hi.
I think, that is about as wrong as you can go with Kelson Henderson.
I don't
But
think
it wasn't the
It's not his.
it
fault.
was not his fault.
Not his fault.
And he worked so hard in that role.
I
You
mean,
knew he was dying inside that thing.
You give an actor like Kelson a character who is just a straight idiot, and that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah, exactly. One thing that I thought would have been nice to explore.
Oh, there's the name.
Yeah, Daniel Watterson for Drilltron. And yeah, we don't know. We keep getting new. Yeah. Well, it's new VA, and we keep getting new VAs. It looks like.
I think that's cool, actually, that they're showcasing some new talent.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know how new they actually are. They could be people with really established careers just outside of Power Rangers.
But they definitely do seem to keep changing it up as far as who we're getting for the monster voices. Whereas, like back in the day, it's like there's...
It's like the same three people.
There's Bob Pappenbrook again. There's Lex Lang. There we got a Robert Axelrod. Rest in peace. But yeah, Campbell Cooley has really been the most recurring voice actor, I think, of the last few years.
He sounded like
the SPD's Squid Monster when Z first met. Oh, Buggles! No, Bugglesworth. That actually was a Kelson Henderson voice.
Bugglesworth.
That is funny. That it's like, oh no, Drilltron sounded like this guy, who was totally played by Kelson Henderson.
You're right, though. You're right. He did. There's a lot of similarities in those voices. Yeah.
Well, it is a good go-to character voice. You tighten up your voice and you sound like you're part of the Lollipop Guild. Oh, Bugglesworth, my dolls. Or whatever it was that he was referring to the to the shrunk humans as. Mr. Bugglesworth. I'm trying to think on other things. Again, it's interesting just how little of the Sentai plots they're using. This was one of the few cases where I feel like they actually did make the focus around the character who was the focus of the original episode. Because for like the first handful of episodes, there was sort of this weird disconnect where, like, we had a Devon focus to an extent in an episode that was a Ravi focus in the original, and then we had we had a Zoe focus in an episode that was originally a Ravi focus, and then we had a Devon focus in an episode that was like originally a Zoe focus. It was a mix and match.
They're doing their own thing. They're like. They're not leaning on the Sentai super heavily.
Yeah.
They're making their own show, and the Sentai footage is just kind of like the glue that holds it together in some places.
And they're really only using it for just a minuscule amount of the episodes each week. Like, this is probably the lowest percentage of Sentai that I've seen in a long time.
Somebody does those figures, too, and now I can't remember who it is.
It was the Martian Ranger or something. I know I've had to look it up before, and now I'm blanking on the name too. It wasn't Prometheus UFO. I want to say Martian Ranger, Martian something. I want to say Martian was part of their name, but I'm blanking right now. Where they actually went through and tabulated the percentages for every single episode of Power Rangers to date.
If that's a labor of love, I don't think I could do that.
The one that actually had the least was MMPR Season 3, I believe. That one was like 90% American footage.
That makes sense because they didn't have any more to use.
Exactly. It was all... It was all just the Zord footage.
Zord footage from Kaku Ranger, and like everything else was... It had to be American made because they had run out of
Zhu Ranger
footage like a season and a half ago.
Yeah, RPM was one that I'd say was pretty light, but I think that Beast Morphers had actually been lighter on the Sentai than RPM was. or at least so far. True, we could end up having an episode Beast Morphers like Blitz, but I don't think that's happening. And then, yeah, we have yet to have any of these episodes be Sentai heavy in any regards. Like, usually it's like, okay, the first few episodes are establishing things, a lot of original footage.
And then they lean on it a little bit more.
Yeah. And then you kind of get into more of a pattern of using it that doesn't seem to be happening right now. Yeah, that's right. That was a brutal fight in Go Busters because he used both swords to jam up the drill. Yes, Go Hunter was very goofy, which did not mesh their tone. But Go Busters is not really that different from Beast Morphers in terms of tone, I would say. Maybe a little bit harsher in some regards, but that's about it.
Yeah, but it's really heavy on like the lighthearted, goofy aspects too, because you've got everybody's relationship with the Buddy Roys.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've got Jin and BJ Stagg doing their thing, and
Steel is making for a very worthy successor
comedy.
to BJ Stagg. I think it's working well.
It's amazing how they can be two completely different characters, but they're both just so charming and so funny.
Well, they decided to go for sort of the Duffman / Zap Brannigan approach to Steel. Which was kind of perfect. Especially considering that BJ Stagg, he liked the Endertron equivalent of Duff a little too much.
It's alcoholic robots in my Toku.
He really was.
More likely than you think.
But they've managed to rework that pretty well, I think, with Steel. And yeah, Nate is just continually adorable, as we have established. I'm trying to think if there were any real weak points to this episode. Like, this one was pretty solidly on point. I wouldn't say it was like super amazing or anything, but we're having a pretty good run of solidly on point. The lesson was conveyed well, as opposed to many of the lessons in Ninja Steel, which were...
Were there lessons in Ninja Steel?
There were lessons. Whether those were lessons that deserved to be learned was really the bigger question. They definitely were trying to teach lessons, but they were really mishandling a lot of them. It's like, lying is wrong, but everyone will instantly forgive you if you save a child from a train that they were only on because of you for convoluted reasons. Adventures of Redbot, honestly, if you look at it in a specific in a specific way, is hilarious. You just need to look at it as if it's a commentary on fake news on the internet. And suddenly it becomes amazing. Because Redbot is totally fake news. He just posts things on the internet and people believe him and worship him.
That's about how it works, isn't it?
And it was amazing to watch. I'm like, I'm sure this isn't intentional. But the parallels are there so thoroughly. And it just keeps rolling. And it's like, and they all forgive him at the drop of a hat too. Yeah, that's how that works. It's not how it should work, but that's how that works.
Megaforce was guilty of teaching lessons and then having the characters not really learn anything too.
Yeah, that was also a thing. Like, I'll still defend. Oh, now I'm forgetting the name. The crying episode. The Do You See Any Tears episode. I'll still defend that just because the anti-bullying message actually I felt worked pretty well. He just, he stood up to them. He inspired the little boy to do the right thing and, stand up for the bullies against the monster. And the bullies were like, okay, yeah, we were wrong, and we shouldn't have been a jerk to you, and etc. It was one of the few Megaforce episodes that actually felt like it was grounded in something, as opposed to We Sing and Flowers Bloom, which was grounded in nothing. Who's Crying Now? I think that was it. Best adaptation name from Q Ranger to Power Rangers. Somebody was saying it should be Power Rangers Astronomy Force. I feel like that's not going to be a thing. Astro Force, maybe. Astronomy Force, probably not. That would... Power Rangers Astro Force would also make for an interesting acronym. Let's see.
Well, there's been lots of those.
Yeah. So let's see. Any other interesting things from the chat at the moment?
The idea that like they're leaning more on Ben and Betty for the comic relief than on the... And that's a really good point. Like,
yes.
if those two characters didn't exist, then the Buddy Roids would really be there as like your comic relief.
That's true.
So it's almost like they
Yeah.
sort of shoehorned in these additional humans for that purpose, and
we're losing out on the Buddy Roids.
and we're losing out on
the
robot
Beast
comedy
Bots.
outside of Steel being Steel.
And he's been bringing it pretty well.
Yeah.
And his is more with the wordplay humor, which Ben and Betty don't really have.
Right, they're still more like the physical comedy
Yeah.
duo, which, if I had to, and even this wasn't so bad, but if I had to point out one weaker area about today's episode, the whole bit with the treadmill, there was no reason for that to be there.
Yeah, that did nothing.
It didn't serve the storyline, and it was a covered in food gag, which, again, staple of Power Rangers since the beginning, but...
It was... They keep breaking physics for those two in weird ways. Like,
it's at least not as egregious as it was for Victor and Monty.
That's true. But, I don't know why they keep sort of going... They just diverge into complete cartoon physics for comedy characters these last few years, and I don't know why. And not even actually good cartoon physics usually either. Because I've done work in cartoons. That's like there is a logic to the physics in cartoons that does not exist for Victor and Monty.
No.
Like okay, he bent his arrow into a pretzel. When he launches it, it's going to do a loop-de-loop. But it didn't. It didn't do a loop-de-loop. It went towards the target, then went around the target, then came back, and it was going through 3 dimensions of motion when it had 2 dimensions of looping on it. And it's that's not how physics works.
Yes, the gag in the dentist office was way better than the treadmill thing.
It's weird how every gag in Beast Morphers these last 2 episodes has been funnier than the Ben and Betty gags that they've been doing.
I like Ben and Betty better when they're people.
Yes.
When they're like the goofy sidekicks, but they're part of what's going on. They're not so much the comic relief. They're like mildly bumbling support characters.
Yes, which is what they should be, I think.
Well, like with the other episodes, like, oh no, here they are and they're getting kidnapped and it's a big plot point, and they're good for stuff like that because you can realistically see them as not having that ability to defend themselves because they're the goofy helpers.
They have good hearts.
Yeah.
We're not going to fault the characters on that. Although I still have no idea how they got kidnapped last week. They just wandered off and then just came back kidnapped. And it's I feel like there should have been a little bit more attention to that. But
also it's Ben and Betty. Like, a lot of what goes on with their characters is based in their root incompetence. So
what? Why were they there?
You can suspend disbelief for something like that.
That's true. But it's one of those things where I'll forgive things that are that are rooted in their incompetence if their incompetence is being drawn attention to in that moment. Whereas instead it was being played for drama, and it's okay, but how did you just get captured just now? What were you why were you anywhere in a place where you could get captured? what just happened? Did I miss a scene?
Nothing's perfect.
Yeah, and
Especially Power Rangers.
yeah, but like the Steel had some good bits this episode. The dentist bit was actually surprisingly clever. Even though I don't know what that guy was doing with the 1-inch drill bit. Because it's like, you were not putting together a shelf with that.
But just like the whole thing about them like vaulting over the table to get out of there because they were freaked out. That was genuinely funny.
And then when she opened up the door and you saw that it wasn't a real person on the other side.
Yeah.
That was genuinely clever.
Yeah.
I'm just in my head I'm like, what were you working on with that? Because you can't assemble you can assemble a shelf with a screw gun, if you have the screw bit in there and you're screwing something in, but you were drilling. What were you doing to that shelf unit that you are now done with?
I don't know, today's episode was just like questionable handyman between the guy in the dentist's office and the guy who didn't notice Roxy lifting his entire drill out of his tool belt.
I want to say that, I want to just imagine that was the same guy. I know we didn't get a good look at the guy's face in the first go.
And that's
it could have been the same
now.
guy.
That's headcanon now.
Whoa, what happened? We finished the episode a little while ago. Remember, it's 7:00 Eastern time, Jesse, if you're just joining us. And yes, how is teaching has been going well. I am truly exhausted, but the new teaching job has been going very well. I've been enjoying it quite a bit more than my last teaching job. There's a very good culture to the school that I'm appreciative of, and I'm getting to be. I definitely feel more confident in my job than I was my first two years at it, since I have some vague idea of what I'm doing this time around. But yeah, let's see, the fight scene with. Imagine those suits wouldn't have survived all the. That's fair. The Beast Bot suits wouldn't survive what they keep doing to Ben and Betty.
Yeah.
Not that Ben and Betty should survive it either. Okay, yeah, yep, that's right. Eastern time, not Central time. Sorry, Jesse.
And Dustin makes a point. It could have been maybe a censorship issue, but honestly, I don't know that this episode needed that.
Well, they were.
Yeah, it was a cool fight. I remember that fight.
Yeah, they've definitely been avoiding using a good number of the ground fights, I've noticed. Not entirely, but they've been trimming them down significantly. And I guess they might have been avoiding that violence there. But like,
but I don't know if that's why. I mean, I feel like it wouldn't have added anything to this episode to put that in there.
Jesse, that is not.
I'm not Marissa. I'm a weird doppelganger.
I mean, you do have vaguely similar glasses, I guess, and you have dark hair, and you're currently wearing the jacket. But no. Yes.
Small brunette, bespectacled nerd women.
Yes.
There's lots of us. We are legion. Yes.
And I mean, I will admit it's probably does not make it easier when you happen to be, sitting in the Marissa spot. But yeah, hopefully she's having fun with the birthday party this evening. And thank you again for stepping in. And, I know we've talked about you coming over to do live reactions on and off for
5 years?
Something like that. Oh, wow, have I been doing 5? This is the 5th year of doing live reactions, actually. We have been doing this for a long time. Time goes by fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when I started doing, back when we started with Dino Charge, when that premiered, it was just going to be a one-off thing. I'm like, we'll see if they like this.
And then it turned into.
And now it's just a thing I do every single week. Plus the Sentai stuff. And Well, at some point we need. I don't know if Q Ranger versus Lupat has managed to hit subtitles yet.
There
or
are
not.
subs.
There are subs of
There
that.
are subs. Yeah,
That's definitely going to be on
TV
the
Nihon
list.
subtitled it.
Okay.
I don't know who else is subtitling it, or if anyone else has subtitled it yet. But I watched it.
Yeah.
With TV Nihon subs.
That is on our list for the next time there's a gap in the Sentai schedule.
That movie is straight bonkers.
Is it?
Yes.
Nice. Q Ranger was just so good. I really, really liked Q Ranger. Yeah, they have on a number of cases. Yeah, I think they've established twice actually that Nate has a fear of spiders.
And that's cool that there's some continuity to the characters, and that they don't like introduce facts about them and forget about them an episode later.
Like they've been doing much, much better at establishing and following up on things than with Ninja Steel.
They feel like people, and that's a plus.
Yeah. Like with Ninja Steel, we would get some foreshadowing, but it'd be along the lines of a single scene that basically smacked you over the head with, "This is foreshadowing."
Yeah.
And then like they wouldn't mention it ever again until a few episodes later. Reveal! Hey, remember when we foreshadowed this?
And more like foreshadowing as it pertains to the plot, rather than making the characters feel like characters.
Yeah, exactly. Like the fact that almost everything that we've dealt with these Rangers has been something that has been established in some way, shape, or form before it's actually addressed in show. Like Nate's fear of spiders, Zoe and the X-Bikes, Devin and the Job, Ravi and Roxy. Nate wanting a brother was arguably maybe covered a little too much, but only by a little. So this, so I think this might be a good place to sort of wrap things up a little bit. This has been Liz,
Pocky Squirrel,
of the Toku Ladies podcast and internet in general. Like if you're not following her on Twitter, you should.
Aw, thank you.
Well, you post a lot of good like fandom like positivity stuff.
I try. I try to be the change that I want to see in the fandom world.
There we go. Oh wow, this is so for Chris, this is his first ever Power Rangers show that he's ever watched. Cool. So I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you've been enjoying.
Welcome to the fandom. Welcome to Ranger Nation.
Exactly. So that's exciting. Nate's fear of spiders reminds me of Zach's bug fear. All right, have a good night, Sean. And because it says that he's wishing us a good night there. Yeah, I think we're wrapping things up. It's been over an hour now. Yes, MJ as well. Just she's out at a friend's birthday party this evening, and we couldn't really rework the scheduling on that. Unfortunately,
out having a social life instead of being a flagrant nerd.
Yeah, these things happen. All right, so we're calling it a night on the chat, which means we should say farewell here. Now, we do the little salute, and we say farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you. Okay.
All right.
So you ready for that?
Are we trying for unison?
We are going to try for unison. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Ready? And farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you. Insert funny tagline here for the credits. That I always say something silly, but I don't know what it'll be. We'll see what it is. All right.
Yay for editing.
Yay for editing. All right. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. And now I need to figure out how to actually turn this off.
Oh, boy. Let's watch Jake wrangle with the technology some more.
What? Wait, I don't know where the buttons are. Where
Please
are the buttons?
check the video resolution.
Yeah. Oh, there's the end stream button.
There's the end stream button.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. I found the button.
Good night.
Very well.